What is going on, Raider Nation? What is um sorry, I'm kind of bugging out a little bit, at least on my end. Are we good on your guys' end? Please let me know because I don't know if the quality is good right now. And I really do not feel like restarting. Um, but yeah, welcome to another Hangover Monday. We have lost to the Denver Broncos. I don't think there's any shocker there. Um, we're gonna get right into it, but before we get into it, you guys, it is time to hit that subscribe button if you guys have not hit that subscribe button already. Hit that like and also hit the bell so you guys are not missing anything from Raiders Primos. I don't like I please you guys let me know if I'm bugging on your guys' end because the picture is looking kind of choppy or like I'm lagging. And I don't know if it's on StreamYard side. I'm not getting any like Wi-Fi issues. I have a let me see if this is the issue. Hold on, you guys. I think I know what the issue is. Let me see if that fixes it. All right, let me know if I'm a little choppy here. I think I'm probably better. It should be a little bit better. But let's get CG. We got CGR in the building on the mods. Thank you for pulling up, CGR. We got Alec M in the building. Actually, let's turn this off. All right. But yeah, you guys, right now, you guys, we are gonna recap the Broncos and Raiders game, but this is likely going to be this is gonna be a good show because there's a lot to talk about. A lot of things have transpired yesterday's game from the Broncos and the Raiders game. But outside of that, you guys, there is some games around the league that we need to look at. Because they have affected this draft board. This draft board just got crazy, you guys. But first, let's dive into the Raiders and the Broncos. Yes, the Denver Broncos have beaten the Las Vegas Raiders 24-17. It was 24-7 at one point, you guys, in the fourth quarter. So wasn't a close game by any means. These were just garbage time points. Geno Smith for the day, he was 13 for 21, 116 yards, a touchdown. And he did get injured later in the game, you guys. Kenny Pickett ended up coming in, had a couple of nice reps out there, a couple of nice throws, had a dot that he threw to Shedrick Jackson for a touchdown. And shout out to Shedrick Jackson for getting his first touchdown on his first touch. Kenny Pickett, 8 for 11, 97 yards, touchdown. 72.7 completion percentage. Ashton Genty was not really utilized in the running department. 10 carries, 30 yards. Only had 3 yards per carry. So the rushing attack, once again, you guys did not show up. But guess who was our leading receiver? Jack Bech. 6 catches on 6 targets, 50 yards. Brock Bowers did have a touchdown, 4 catches, 46 yards on 5 targets. Tyler Lockett, 3 catches, 41 yards, no touchdown, 4 targets. Shedrick Jackson had the 1 target for a catch, 25-yard, which resulted in a touchdown. Trey Tucker had 2 catches for 24 yards. Ian Thomas had 2 catches for 17 yards. Ashton Genty had 2 catches for 8 yards. Raheem Mostert had a catch for 2 yards. The offense, once again, you guys could not get going, and it was once again the same thing with the defense. Defense cannot get any stops. On the offense side of the football, for Denver, Bo Nix was 31 for 38, 212 yards. Really a dink and dunk type of day for the Denver offense. I believe they had like 3 possessions that resulted in a touchdown, but they were like 8 minutes long. So a lot of dink and dunk from the Denver Broncos, but it was working. They were moving the football, and they got through the defense. RJ Harvey had a touchdown. Bo Nix had a touchdown rush. RJ Harvey led the Denver offense in the rushing department with 17 carries, 75 yards, 4.4 yards per attempt. Cortland Sutton was their leading receiver with 6 catches, 62 yards, 10 targets. He was covered by Darian Porter. Sutton didn't have the kind of a Cortland Sutton type of game. So I got to give, hats off to Darian Porter. He held his own out there, gave us some yards, but no touchdowns to Cortland Sutton. Marvin Mims did have a punt return for a touchdown. It seemed like Tom McMahon was back in the building. Special teams struggling once again. But yeah, you guys, it's kind of the same thing, same old, that we're not really going to get into because we're beating a dead horse at this point. The Raiders, the most important thing that we are going to talk about, you guys, is that the Raiders fall to 2-11. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting. Give me a sec, you guys. Like I said, I just got home from work, you guys. I was expecting to get home a little bit earlier, but got held some overtime. Show was supposed to start at 3. I got home at like 3:10, y'all. Like it was crazy. Ooh, that's some good coffee. Shout out to my wonderful woman that it got me some coffee. But like I said, guys, we have to step away from the Broncos and the Raiders game. Yes, we can dissect it, we can talk about it, but again, it's been the same dead horse that we have witnessed all season long. This is where it's going to get interesting. Because in the early slate of games last Sunday, I don't know if you guys were keeping a scoreboard watch, but the Tennessee Titans went on the road against the Cleveland Browns and they beat the Cleveland Browns 31-29, which brought their record to 2-11, just like us. Now, what did that do in terms of the draft order? Well, here is what it did. So with the draft, the Tennessee Titans, before going into that game, had the first overall pick, and we beat the Titans earlier in the season. We were hoping the Titans can possibly pick up a win. I didn't think it was going to be against Cleveland. I thought maybe they had a better chance going against getting a win against the Saints. But they got a win yesterday against the Cleveland Browns, and this is what it did for our Las Vegas Raiders. As you guys can see, the Las Vegas Raiders now move up to the number 2 spot. Now, the reason for that being, and a lot of people are kind of confused of Las Vegas and Tennessee having the same record, but Tennessee dropping below us. Well, if you look at the strength of schedule, the Raiders have an easier strength of schedule than the Titans. Now, that is where their tiebreaker lies. Now, here's another key thing. The Giants have the first overall pick now. The Giants and the Raiders play each other in week 17. If the Raiders continue to lose out, you guys, there is a high percentage that the Raiders can hold the first overall pick. There's a very, very high chance that the Raiders, for me, it's a 99% chance, if I'm being honest, because I do not see in any world, the only ones that can F this up, and they probably will, which is, we're talking about the Raiders here, right? Is the Raiders effing this up and getting an unnecessary win against the Texans, which I don't see happening. Against the Eagles, I don't see that happening. That Giants game, you guys, is going to be pivotal because that is a game on who is going to get that first overall pick. Are the Giants going to probably be selling that game? They might be. They might try to lock that first overall pick as well. Hey, Brock, you want to go to the Bunny Ranch? You want to go to the stripper lounge the night before? Go ahead, Brock Bowers. Max, you want to take a week off? Go ahead. That is the game that you have to lose. That is the game you have to lose. If we lose against the New York Giants, the Raiders will move into the first overall pick spot. It is lose out from here on out. The Raiders have full control of their destiny. Keep doing what you're doing, Pete Carroll. Keep putting Alex Kappa at center. Keep not playing the young guys, even though we're going to talk about that because the young guys, I want to say they balled out, but they showed a little bit of promise in yesterday's game. What I'm trying to say here, you guys, it's all lining up for the Raiders to have the offseason that can change this organization around. But it is up to the Raiders to do so. It is up to the Raiders to do so. It starts with letting go of Pete Carroll and this entire coaching staff. I get it. I get it, you guys. We don't want to do a coaching carousel. I didn't want to do a coaching carousel. But the reason the Raiders are in this position, and you know what? Thank you, Pete. Thank you. Thank you for putting us in this position, because it is Pete Carroll and his sons and this entire coaching staff. It is their decision making that has the Raiders at 2-11 right now. And all I got to do is applaud them. You know why? Because for the first time, and it feels like forever, you guys, the Raiders can draft their quarterback with no excuses. No excuses. No, oh, we couldn't trade up. Oh, no, Josh McDaniels didn't want CJ Stroud. None of that. No excuses. You are in prime position to go get the quarterback of the future. And I'm sorry, you guys. I know a lot of people are probably not high on Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore, even though we got to monitor that situation if he's going to stay or not. I know a lot of people are not high, but the Raiders did this to themselves. They cannot leave this draft holding the first overall pick. Hell, if they somehow stay at number 2, they cannot afford to leave this draft in that position and not draft a quarterback. I do hear from both sides. I hear from both sides that we should trade back, get more draft capital, get best player available, or get the best offensive lineman on the board. I get that. I hear your guys' those fans' arguments, and I actually see it. I understand why you guys want to do that. I agree with you guys. There is a lot of holes on this team. There's a lot of holes from top to bottom, from the linebacker rooms to the secondary to the offensive line. We talked about it. The defensive line. We need a wide receiver 1. We need a quarterback. We need a lot of things on this football team. But here is the issue, you guys, that I have with this football team. We have done this experiment before. We have brought in bridge quarterbacks. We have started mid-round quarterbacks. We gave a second-round quarterback 9 years to get it right, and it didn't work out. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Yes, other things outside of them, just the quarterback not working out, they affected that. But this is why you let go of Pete Carroll. You start fresh, and holding the first overall pick is going to be very, very enticing to a potential head coach candidate, whether that is Chris Shula, whether that is Clint Kubiak. Holding that first overall pick is going to be very, very advertising to a potential head coaching candidate. Now, before I move on, you guys, we have 6 people in the building. Please think about hitting that subscribe button if you have not already. Please think about hitting this that like button. Push this video out into the algorithm, and also hit the bell so you guys are not missing anything there. I'm going to acknowledge the chat because I see you guys bringing comments in. We got Alec M in the building. Raiders. We love it. Love it. We got Pepe in the building. Mendoza. Love it. Love it. We got Leak Guy. What's up, Primo? What's up? What's going on, Leak Guy? Alec M, that last field goal made no sense, but to the sports books, crazy stuff. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of people want the Raiders and the NFL investigated. I know some people wanted the officiating crew investigated. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on with that last second field goal. It makes no sense. I seen the final score. I didn't even watch the field goal happen. I didn't even watch the last drive. But I was kind of confused on the final score. I was like, it should be 24-14, right? I don't know where we got 3 points from. And then I seen how we got it, and I'm like, ooh, bro, Raiders, don't be trying to fuck it up now and get that first round pick stripped from us because we're trying to help the gambling gods in Vegas out. Don't be doing that. Alec M, Raiders draft position. Looking good right now. It could look very, very great. After after this season is up. It could look very, very great after the season is up. Sean Johnson says, salute Primos, check your DM. I sent mad stuff for the show. And I seen that, Sean. I'm gonna get to a lot of those notes that you sent me, a lot of info. We got a ton of information. This was a crazy week of football, you guys. Not only did it shape up, it shaped up a lot of things for the playoffs. I know we're not thinking playoffs, but it shaped things up for the draft board as well for the top teams possibly looking for a quarterback. Leak Guy says Raider will do Raider things. Got a bad feeling. Hey, no, I agree with you, Leak Guy. That's why that game, you got to lose that game. If there was a game that I am hoping the Raiders lose, it is the Giants. Because I don't think I've ever I know I said I would never celebrate a loss. But at this point, Leak Guy, drafting a quarterback will give this fan base hope. It will give this organization hope for the future. Instead of going to get another Geno Smith or another Jimmy G, or bringing in another Brian Hoyer, or drafting another Aiden O'Connell, or another Cam Miller, even though we don't know what Cam Miller has. My point being is that it's a first-round pick quarterback that the Raiders have not done since Jamarcus Russell. And a lot of Raider fans have a lot of Raider PTSD, thinking back to them Jamarcus Russell days. But that is not – we got to get out of that. We have to get out of that. Do not mess around. Go draft your quarterback of the future. And Pete's team still sucks. And this is facts. And this is why Pete should not be here. This is exactly why Pete should not be here. League Guy, NFL should forfeit the rest of the games for Raiders. We got abused by a toxic relationship this season. And we did, League Guy, we did. But Pete might be doing something nice and possibly getting us the first overall pick and putting us in prime position to go locate the quarterback of the future. Mark still might fire Carroll during the season. We shall see. And if that happens, I'm okay with it. Like I said, you have to get rid of this coaching staff. Patrick Graham as well. I don't want nobody in this coaching staff to possibly take over a head coach. I want everyone gone. Start fresh. Start new. You could possibly start fresh with a new head coach and a new quarterback at the helm. But let's get in with it, you guys. Shout out to Raiders Resistance on Instagram. He reported that with only 4 games remaining in the Las Vegas Raiders season, league sources believe, and this, speaking of these rookies, you guys, the more and more you see these guys like Jack Bech, Caleb Rogers, Tonka Hemingway, Darian Porter, the more you see these guys and the more reps they're getting, the potential that you see where their ceiling is at, that they can only get better. And it's not like they're getting cooked every single week. They're getting better every single week, which begs to ask the question, why did Pete Carroll wait so long? And why do Raider fans want John Spytek out of here? Well, for those fans that want Spytek out of here, I have to inform you that league sources believe General Manager John Spytek's job is quote-unquote safe as the organization prepares for another round of firings in the front office and coaching staff, according to CBS. After an unsuccessful season marked by poor quarterback play, questionable staffing decisions, the dismissal of offensive coordinator Chip Kelly and special teams coordinator Tom McMahon, and young talent that failed to develop properly, which I blame the coaching staff. I don't think it is on the young players. The Raiders appear headed for yet another underwhelming reset. And here, I'm going to stop there, you guys. I'm going to continue, but I'm going to stop there. When have the Raiders ever headed to a reset? And what I mean by that, you guys, the Raiders never embraced a full rebuild. We talked about for 20 plus years that the Raiders have been rebuilding. No, they have always said, "Oh, we're retooling. We're going to be regrouping. We're not rebuild. This is not a rebuild. We're trying to win now." They never embraced the full rebuild. Maybe you can argue in 2014. They went out and got Khalil Mack and Derek Carr, two foundational pieces, one for the defense, one for the offense, and you've seen how that happened in 3 years' time, from 2014 to 2016. After that, they have not embraced the rebuild. What I mean is burning this shit down from, like I said, coaching staff, everybody's gone. Nobody stays. Guys on 1-year contracts, let them walk. Aging vets, let them walk. The only guys that should be coming back is Max Crosby, Ashton Jeanty, Brock Bowers, Jack Bech, the basically the draft class, any foundational pieces. Other than that, Jamal Adams, bye. Eric Stokes, bye. Everyone needs to get the hell out of Henderson and embrace the rebuild so you can rebuild this properly. So going on, having said that, it says the Raiders appear headed for yet another underwhelming reset. In my opinion, they never embraced that reset. So I can't even say they're headed for another one. Pete Carroll is no longer fit to lead the team as head coach, further signaling significant changes ahead. I think there's no shocker there. I believe that towards the end of the year, we will be hearing some breaking news that Pete Carroll is going to be out as the Raiders head coach. And again, where you can look at is Clint Kubiak and Chris Shula. You can look at those two possible names as head coach. But here's the key thing, you guys. The key thing is, oh yeah, and also JPJ, Oakland fan. Also JPJ. Like I said, the young foundational pieces. Any aging vets or anyone who's been here for outside of Max Crosby, maybe AJ Cole. You guys kind of get what I'm saying, though. What I mean by this with the Chris Shula and those names. Here's what you need to do, though. Marky Mark. I'm looking at Mark Davis now. Instead of, you know what? No, instead of. Have fun with your gold digger girlfriends. Have fun with your gold digger girlfriends. Go to the Bunny Ranch with Jimmy G if you have to. But get the fuck away from the Raiders. And hand the keys to John Spytek. Hand the keys to Tom Brady. Give John Spytek full control when it comes to assembling the roster. And whoever comes in, whether that is a Clint Kubiak or a Chris Shula or whoever Spytek, key thing, Spytek picks to be the head coach, let Spytek assemble. Let the head coach focus on the on-field product. Let them focus on developing these players rather than we're going to shuffle the offensive line because we feel like it. We're going to start a quarterback that continues to turn the football over week in and week out. We're going to continue to put an offensive line out there that, for one, makes no fucking sense to begin with, but that is by means the worst offensive line, possibly not just in Raider history, possibly NFL history. In my mind, I have not seen a worse offensive line than this. Unless, I mean, you guys probably have, but in my lifetime, I have never seen this bad of an offensive line. Let Spytek assemble the roster. Let the coach focus on the field product. Give Spytek full control. Give Brady control of what they need, how to assemble this roster. Do not give it to the head coach. That is what's been wrong with Mark Davis and hiring these head coaches. You give Josh McDaniels all the power. You give John Gruden all the power. You give Pete Carroll all the power. The last time you let a general manager actually be a general manager, Mark, The Raiders had something building. The Raiders had something building. The last time you let the GM be the GM, you let the head coach be the head coach. It didn't work out. It didn't work out. But it gave you a blueprint, Mark Davis. And this is why I put blame on you, on why the Raiders are where they are at. Because you had the blueprint in 2014. You had the blueprint in 2015, 2016. And you just threw that away. You wanted, and I could be totally wrong, you guys, but you cared more about this. You cared more about bringing money into Allegiant, into your own pockets, than putting a winning product on the football field, because you chased the name for the head coaching spot. John Gruden, Josh McDaniels, Pete Carroll. And I could say I could put blame on us for kind of forcing your hand on hiring AP. But outside of that, you've hired names. You've hired legends who don't have it anymore. It is time to go young at the head coaching position. Let me get into more of these comments, you guys. Thank you guys for pulling up. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like if you guys haven't already. And also hit that bell so you guys are not missing anything from Raider Primos. We got Sean Johnson in the building. New York Giants remaining. They're 2-11. They got Washington at home. They got Minnesota at home. And then they're at Las Vegas. And then they're at home against Dallas. Tennessee remaining. They're at San Francisco. They are at home against Kansas City, at home against New Orleans, and then they finish off with Jacksonville. Well, here's the thing, Sean. The Raiders, all they have to do is lose out. Now, yes, if those teams win another game, then boom, the Raiders are right there at number one already before that Giants game even comes up. And we could be stress-free. But here's the thing. All the Raiders have to do is lose out. Don't fuck it up, Pete Carroll. Don't keep doing what you're doing, Pete Carroll. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep doing what you are doing. And let's lose out. Alec M. Kenny Pickett, no world beater either, but he showed he's hungry a bit. And he did, Alec M. And I'm going to give him his flowers. But I've also got to take into consideration that Denver started playing soft coverage. And two, they did not have a game plan for Kenny Pickett. Their game plan surrounded Geno Smith. If Kenny Pickett starts against Philly, let's see how he plays. Because now you got Philly having to game plan for Kenny Pickett, a team that knows him very well. You know, he won a Super Bowl last year with them as the backup, of course, to Jalen Hurts. But it would be very, very interesting to see what a defensive game plan against Kenny Pickett will look like. What type of game does Kenny Pickett have? But I will still give him his flowers. He made some nice throws out there, but take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt. Leak Guy. They saying Pete looked defeated and saying he didn't see this coming. Well, he did this to himself by playing players out of position, sitting the rookies out this season. How worse can it get? Make the pain stop. Leak Guy, just like my man CGR said here, you ain't never lie. You ain't never lie. Again, everyone knows delusional Pete and Geno needs to go by now. And I agree. And the thing is with Geno, you're eating an $18 million dead cap hit, which I will eat it. I will eat that $18 million dead cap hit. Go draft your quarterback. Now, here's the thing, you guys. I'm not saying draft your quarterback and start him right away. You hear me on you guys hear me on that? I'm not saying draft your quarterback and start him right away. What I'm saying is you draft your quarterback and you possibly maybe bring Kenny back. Maybe you start Aiden O'Connell. Or you bring Geno back and you start Geno. But what I want is for my rookie quarterback to not get his confidence shattered. Because I guarantee you guys, if you start Mendoza or you start Moore right away, and they start playing bad, which they probably will because they're rookies, they're going to have their rookie growing pains. This fan base is going to deep fry them. And what do you think that's going to do for their confidence? It's going to shatter their confidence. So, let's develop the quarterback. Give him some time to learn the NFL speed. And you start your rookie quarterback in 2027. Hey, Oakland fan, I'm telling you, all you can eat at PF Chang's. Telling you, bro. Let Mark Davis, go do your thing, man. You like those gold diggers? Go do your thing. But leave the Raiders alone. Sean Johnson, this is the ranking head coach candidates. 1, Clint Kubiak. 2, Chris Shula. 3, Mike LaFleur. 4, Joe Brady. 5, Cliff Kingsbury. 6, Jesse Minter. And 7, Brian Flores. Go get one of the top 2 guys. Or I'll say this. Spytech. Go get your guy. Whoever one of these names you feel you can work with and y'all can build something here, go get them. And let that coach go get their coordinators. And let that coaching staff focus on developing these players, not assembling the roster or who they want, type of players they want to bring in. Oh, I want to go get this quarterback. I don't want to draft. No, none of that. Spytech, what you're going to say is, what quarterback do you want in the draft? Because I will go draft them. But we're not going to go free agency. We're not going to go trade for a quarterback. What we need to do is draft a quarterback. So who do you like? Alec and Mark does like to party and Hooter babes. Bro, he be having like 4 of them women up in that booth. Like, it's crazy. Oakland fan, it's almost like they need a chief of operations like an Ozzie Newsome or someone like that. And I agree with what you and Alec M are kind of preaching here. Yes, Raiders need a great VP of football operations. But here's the thing, you guys. Could that be Tom Brady? And what I mean by that, this is why I want Brady to quit Fox and to be more involved with the Raiders organization. If he cares, like what we keep hearing, if he cares and he's frustrated of how this season went, he will be more involved in this offseason. Way more involved. Here's my coach mock hiring. 1, Chris Shula. 2, Kubiak, OC. 3, Matt LaFleur, DC. Okay. I don't know if that would happen. I don't think you're going to get 3 potential head coaches on one staff, but you never know. You never know. Shout out to Sean Johnson. If you draft Fernando Mendoza, I can't see them sitting him. That's why you address the offensive line first thing in free agency. Go get Tyler Lindenbaum and Braden Smith. Put together an expensive offensive line. I agree with you, Sean Johnson. If you are going to start Fernando Mendoza, which, again, I agree with you. I don't see them sitting him. It's just what I would do. I would sit him for the first year. But I agree with you. I do not see the Raiders sitting him. If you draft him at 1, you're gonna throw him into the fire. But yeah, with that being said, if you're going to do that, since you will do that, you got to go address that offensive line. And you got to make sure he has a wall in front of him. But we're talking about protecting Fernando Mendoza. You know what we're not talking about, Sean? Is how a wall of an offensive line will benefit Ashton Jeanty. And how a running game, a great running game, will benefit your rookie quarterback. Look at, we brought up the Titans. what's a great stat you guys to look at in that game? Because Cam Ward didn't really he had a decent game, 14 for 28, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 50% completion percentage. But there's a key stat that takes the pressure off your rookie quarterback. Tony Pollard, 25 carries, $161, 2 touchdowns, 6.4 yards per clip. Had his longest run of the day was 65 yards. We're not talking about that, Sean. And I don't think we're talking about it enough. We're talking about building an offensive line to protect our quarterback, which I get. You have to do that. But imagine what a great offensive line does for your running game. Imagine having a beast in Ashton Jeanty running through mammoths on the offensive line. That when he gets past the line of scrimmage, gets past those blocks, and it's one-on-one with the corner. It's one-on-one with the linebacker. It's one-on-one with the safety. You cannot tell me Ashton Jeanty's winning that 9 times out of 10. And then, just then, you get the defense creeping up. Because why? They got to respect the run. And just then, you get a rookie quarterback that's comfortable in slinging the football. Because now he has some open windows to hit. Leak Eye. Kubiak is reason for Sam Darnold succeeding. I know he will utilize Mendoza in this Raider offense. And Kubiak or Shula, Leak Eye, I'm cool with either one. I am cool with either one. Oakland fan. Brady bought small stock in LV, and he ain't it. He's got rings, but he gives me home-grand Dwight Clark vibes in the front office. That's all. Not a fan of TB12 off the field. That's all. And Oakland fan, I do not blame you. I was excited at first. I'm like, oh, Brady is not going to tie himself to a losing organization. He's going to try to put the Raiders back in their winning ways. Now I'm questioning what his real motives are, Oakland fan. Because it seems like you care more about your Fox commentating career than what you said that, trying to be involved and trying to make change to the Raiders. And I'm going into this season, Oakland fan, not expecting a lot out of him. That's why, man, give the keys to Spytek. Give the keys to Spytek. And we could give the keys to TB12, but like I said, how involved is he going to be in this offseason? Sean Johnson, Ashton Jeanty, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Jack Best, Trey Tucker, Dante Thorne Jr. will all benefit with the young franchise quarterback, etc. And it starts with the trenches. It starts with the trenches, but you can go get a Linderbaum, and that immediately makes your O-line better. I even wrote this, you guys. Here's a little game plan I have, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. I wrote this out, and I want to share it with you guys. All the Raiders have to do is lose out, secure the first overall pick, and draft their guy at quarterback, whoever it is. I like Mendoza. I like Moore. I'm kind of falling off of the Simpson train because he didn't really have a good game against Georgia. Mendoza's game against Ohio State really sold me on Mendoza. Not saying he's can be great or elite, you guys, just that there's some potential there that in the right coaching staff, in the right situation, you can probably get the best out of Mendoza, and that ceiling is very, very high. Now, I said, I know rumors was Moore won't come out, but his offensive coordinator is leaving and taking the head coaching job in Kentucky. Maybe that factors into him staying or not. That is something to monitor. Yes, the offensive line needs to be revamped, but you could look at Ravens center Tyler Linderbaum if you want to keep JPJ at guard. You could also then look at Colts right tackle Braden Smith, and boom, your new offensive line is left tackle in Cole Miller, your left guard in JPJ, your center in Linderbaum. You probably are going to have a right guard competition between Caleb Rogers. Maybe you put Charles Grant in that mix, Dylan Parham in that mix if you do not let him walk, and DJ Glaze. And then you have your right tackle in Braden Smith. You can also address the offensive line in the draft with your second round pick. I would definitely be addressing getting a wide receiver 1 in the draft, which I would go in the 3rd round. I will look in the 3rd round because, guys, go look at this free agency class. There is not a wide receiver that is on that free agent that is coming out in free agency that I would pick up to be a wide receiver 1. If you're gonna go free agency, you might as well just roll with the young guys you have now and see maybe if Dante Thornton can take that next step, or maybe Jack Betch. Even though I don't think he can be a wide receiver 1, I think he's a compliment wide receiver 2. But you're gonna have to go look for your wide receiver 1 in the draft. Maybe you could look at free agency at the corner, but I still think they need to try to draft one. Darian Porter has been looking nice with the limited reps he's had, so he could he take the next step next season? And like I said, you guys, he held Courtland Sutton to 6 catches and around 60-something yards, but no touchdowns. And Courtland Sutton is, he could be one of the maybe top 15 receiver, but he's Denver's wide receiver 1, and Darian, he made it tough on him. He was playing a lot of sticky coverage yesterday. I've seen a lot of good things from Darian Porter this season. Went on to say that definitely need a new linebacker room. Could they look at EJ Speed from Houston or Kenneth Murray from Dallas? This is why I want to see the young guys like Lindenberg and Eichenberg get a lot of reps. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. All right. I thought I was getting my phone blown up. I'm going to put that down. But yes, I went on to say this is why I want to see the young guys like Lindenberg and Eichenberg get a lot of reps. See what you have in these guys. Now, we know we need defensive line help. There's not a lot of names out there in free agency, so that is another unit you would have to address in the draft. And there's not. I mean, there's good. The thing is, it's all a bunch of names. And what I mean by that, it's a lot of names that are past their prime, in their mid-30s, late 30s. You're not going to want to bring them in to revamp a defensive line. Like I said, you want to start fresh. So go address the defensive line in the draft. But the first order of business, you guys, before all of that, I saved the best for last. The first order of business is fire the Carrolls and fire every single coach that is on this regime. You start fresh. A name you can look at is Rams defensive coordinator Chris Shula. You can look at Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak. And you can let them bring in their coordinators and give John Spicek full control over addressing the roster. Now I want to get your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think about that type of offseason? Just with those little moves, or not just an offseason, but a plan in place to possibly move the Raiders into the right direction. I want to get your guys' thoughts on that. Let me catch up to the chat real quick though. Lee guy, despite Geno put the Raiders offense behind 2016 O-line, we will be in a playoff hunt, but I know we got long ways to go until we reach the playoffs. Again, makes it easier for Donald, a young wide receiver, Smignon Jibbuck that catches everything. That's facts. That is facts. Anthony, salute to you. Salute to you. Oakland fan, the draft is defense heavy too. Exactly. There's a lot of names, especially on the defensive line, especially in the linebacker department, in the secondary, that we can address in the draft. we could definitely address in the draft. And yes, in a perfect world, Oakland fan, young coaches that can put together a competent staff with Mendoza. And that's the thing. It's a great plan. Thank you, Sean. Phenomenal plan. Thank you. But that's the thing, Sean. That's in a perfect world. We're talking about the Raiders here. We're talking about the Raiders here. That they love to fuck things up, right? They love to fuck things up. They could go out, win a meaningless game, get pushed out of the quarterback race. They could possibly maybe get more, but again, more is not a guarantee to come out. If he goes back to school and you're sitting there at 5 or 6 because you won one meaningless game that did not fucking matter, we're right back where we're at. Alec M. Yep, lots of exciting talent this upcoming draft. The thing is, Alec M., that's where it starts. I said it last year. People's like, oh, go sign this guy, go sign this guy. You guys realize in the plan that I just gave you guys, there's only 2 free agents that I really want to go sign. 2 free agents. Maybe 3 if you want to count the linebackers. But there's like 2 or 3 free agents that I want to sign. Everything else, address in the draft. Why? Because that is where you turn shit around. That is where playoff teams or mediocre teams become playoff teams. That's why the Eagles have been in the playoff race for so long, because they draft well. You look at any playoff team, any playoff contender, they draft well. They draft well. That is where the Raiders need to get back to. As if they were ever there. They were never there, but they need to start drafting well. And they need to focus on drafting well. But getting aging veterans, washed up veterans. Go get some young guys. Go get some young guys. Look what this draft class is doing, you guys. Let's bring it up. Notable non-quarterback rookie performances. This is coming from yesterday, you guys. Caleb Rogers, 39 pass snaps in his first full game. Put a donut up there of pressures allowed. A donut against that Denver defense. Who is Caleb Rogers, you guys? He's a 3rd-round pick from last year's draft. A young guy. DJ Glaze was top 6 graded of Raiders players yesterday. This is coming from Vinny B. Right guard Caleb Rogers and right tackle DJ Glaze were 2 of the top 6 graded Raiders players yesterday per PFF. It will be interesting next year if Jackson Powers Johnson returns to center, because he and Rogers could be a potentially solid interior duo. Getting love from Sanji. Caleb Rogers looked really good for the Raiders yesterday. You can tell he is a former tackle. His footwork, hand placement, and processing is impressive in pass protection. And then he went on to show a few plays. Go follow my guy Sanji on X. My point, you guys, is gonna be you gotta have the youth movement. That's how you're gonna change this shit show around. Not by going to sign Jamal Adams or Devin White, trading for Geno Smith. The youth movement. Draft. Sean Johnson says, sneaky 2 offensive coordinators. I wouldn't mind. Brian Daboll and Mike McDaniels if he gets fired from Miami. Some, for those guys that are former head coaches, some are great coordinators. Look what Josh McDaniels is doing in New England with Drake May. Some are just really, really good coordinators. I wouldn't mind those names, Sean. Would not mind those names. I think I would lean more to a Brian Daboll, though, as an offensive coordinator. I think him and whatever quarterback he picks, I think he can build something. It is, Lee Guy. Again, Eagles can afford to take a few risks and draft because they're playing with house money. But it's because, Alec, they're also drafting well. They got a ton of people on rookie contracts that are playing well. So they can go out and sign a Saquon Barkley. They can add some pieces to that team. But from up and down on that roster, Howie Roseman is drafting well. Got a lot of guys on rookie contracts. The thing is about Howie, Alec, is that he doesn't really pay. When those contracts are up, he doesn't really pay those guys. But he's afford to take that risk. Like you said, playing with house money, he's afford to take that risk. Why? Because he is drafting well. He trusts his draft more than going out and spending money in free agency. Now, yes, it works for some teams. Look at the New England Patriots. Went out and just basically emptied the dump truck of money in free agency, and it's working out for them. But the thing is, you guys, the Raiders are in a position where they have so many holes on this team from top to bottom. You guys, from top to bottom. And the thing is, we've tried going and get a lot of 1 year. And that's another thing. We tried addressing it by signing aging veterans to 1 year contracts. If you're going to do that, go draft. Go draft your guys. Go and draft your guys. Raider 87. Yeah, no, it is not, homie. Not everything is done in the draft. They got some key pieces, but they also spent cash. Stop pushing the draft so much. You can pay for talent. Also, you can't have all rookies. LOL. Because it's worked out, right? It's worked out for the Raiders, paying Corey Littleton all that shit ton of money. Going and trading for Devontae. Paying a shit ton of money to Trent Brown. Now, if you're spending your money right, I can see it 87. But what I'm saying for the Raiders, they have to draft well, and then they can go spend that cash. For New England, they spent the cash. Why? Because they drafted well. That's where it starts. Now, like to Alec M's point, the Eagles are afforded to keep kind of playing with house money because they're drafting well and they keep finding players that are hits. But if we're going to talk about, we could take the New England route and spend and you got to spend some cash. Well, the Raiders are still not in position to do that because it's not like they've done it before. They have done it. They put money towards free agency, and it still has not worked out for them. But why? Because they couldn't draft well. Every pick is a risk, and I understand that. I understand that the draft is a risk from first round to seventh round. But this is why the pressure is on Spytek. Because he has to hit in the draft. There's no excuses for him. He has to hit in this draft, in the 2026 draft. Look at his draft class now with Ashton Genty, with Jack Besh, with Caleb Rowe. In the little reps that they have showed potential. That with the more reps they can get and with the right coaching staff, they can be something on this team. The Raiders are not afforded to go out there and just empty the dump trunk in free agency. And if you are, I'm emptying it for Tyler Linderbaum to help our offensive line out. But if we're talking about emptying it out to go get this player, that player, this player, that player, like how New England did, the Raiders are not afforded to do that. They're not in a position to do that. And they did this to themselves by not drafting well. DeMokes, Mendoza. I'm not saying that, DeMokes. He still gotta play some NFL football. With the right coaching staff and if they play their cards right, maybe in 4 years, 5 years, who knows? But I can't say that. I know you just mess around, but hey, for real, talk that shit to existence. Axel Raider, Kappa performed surprisingly okay at center. Still not a center though, Axel. He's still not a center. And JPJ should be there, but he's injured, so I get it. But he's not a center. If anything, Axel, I don't know why Pete doesn't put Parham there. Alec M. Rogers should have been playing many weeks ago. It's facts. Oh no, Alec, like I said, it did. But again, they were afforded to, spend that money because they drafted well. Leak Guy, when you don't know what you're doing out, fuck it, just put Forsythe, Meredith out there. Oh wait, you bench JPJ and start Kappa, then put him at center. Great. Exactly. Hey, Raider Way, bro. It's Vegas, so it could be both, right? Could be both, right? Raiders are in Vegas, so you never know. Could be holes, You never know. So to my guy, Raider Way. Breaking. Mendoza, Pavia, Love, and Sayed named Heisman Trophy finalists. I think Mendoza's going to win it. I think his second half performance, and I talk about his second half because his first half, it was a defensive game. The offense struggled for Indiana, but they found the rhythm in the second half when they needed to. And it was very key to Mendoza. Throwing some having some nice throws out there. But I think Mendoza is going to win it. And if he has some really good game, if he has some good games like he did against Ohio State in the playoffs, I think, or I'm not so fond with how it works. I don't know if they do it before playoffs or how does it work, Sean? Do they do it before playoffs or after? When they give the Heisman Trophy? Because I don't know when they give it out. Again, Raiders didn't have much of a choice at center because Putnam was terrible. He's a UDFA for a reason. Oh, bro, CGR. I'm not saying put Parham there like that would change anything. I'm just like, at least he played center. No fucking way, bro. Tell me you're kidding, Sean. Tell me you're kidding, bro. Please tell me you're kidding. Poor Andy, bro. Whoa, they have 3? Wow. Wow. Dude, and I seen that happen live, and I was like, bro, it must suck to be a Colts fan because he went right down to the ground and immediately clinched at his Achilles. Everybody knew what it was. Right away. And CGR, you're right. Scared money don't make no money. That's why I'm like, if you're gonna give a bag out, I'm giving it to Tyler Linderbaum. But what I'm saying is, I mean, I explained it already. I'm just falling behind in the comments. But like I said, you can't just go out there and just get that guy, give that guy back, give that guy back, give this guy back, give that guy back. You can't do that. You can't do that because the Raiders have not drafted well. That's why I push for the draft. Once the Raiders draft well, you guys, that's when they can start giving the bag out and do what New England did. Let's give this corner the bag. Let's give this linebacker the bag. Let's give this safety the bag. Let's give this offensive lineman the bag. Let's give this defensive tackle the bag. Because you're putting them with guys that you drafted. Dude, that's disgusting. $66 million to Geno for what? 15 interceptions and a 2-11 record? Disgusting. Trenches, yep. Alec M. Time will tell how these guys will look at quarterback in the draft process. Exactly. It's still early. I don't really care about the underwear Olympics, as most people like to call it. That's why I'm really going to be looking at these playoff games. When the pressure is on, that is what I love to see. How do these quarterbacks handle the pressure? Where's Lucky Tassi at when you need him? Man, for real. Raider Way, send the Colts Geno now for a bag of chips. They ain't going to take his ass. Especially after whooping his ass earlier in the season. 2-4 was good, my guy. Hope all is well. Let's keep it going, you guys. I think I caught up. We talked about the Raiders possibly getting to the number one pick. Their percentage of getting the number one pick have just went up to 44%. They lead the league in that, with the Titans having 21% to lock it, Jets getting 10% to lock it. So the Raiders basically are the front runners to lock up the number one pick. Let me see what else. Yeah, y'all. I think we talked about everything. We talked about the Raiders moving up in the draft. Talk about a game plan in the offseason. I know a lot, and you don't got to agree with me. I'm all for it. Agree to disagree. But that's why I want to get your guys' thoughts. I want to hear your guys' plans. What do you guys think the Raiders' plan should be? If you guys were Spytek, what would be a good plan? What would be a good plan? And we got, let me see. Hey, Jamba Juice. Linderbaum's the guy I'm giving the bag to. I don't even. Yeah, I'd give all linemen in free agency the bag. I wouldn't even hesitate. Bro, let me see who. I'm telling you, bro, you got to give Braden. If you got to give Linderbaum and Braden Smith the bag, I mean, you already gave Cole Miller the bag, bro. Might as well. Because the offensive line, bro, you need to revamp that offensive line. Like, I don't care. I told you guys, if I'm Spytek, I am being very, very aggressive in free agency when it comes to the offensive line, especially if we're going to get a guy like Mendoza or more if he comes out into the NFL draft. I'm committing to revamping that offensive line. And like I said, Coach, we talk about revamping the line. I said this earlier. We talk about revamping the offensive line for Mendoza's sake, or whoever quarterback is going to be back there. Imagine what it does for Ashton Jeanty, though. And then imagine having a running game. That takes all the pressure off your quarterback. Opens up play action. That's why it's more than just protect our quarterback. You revamping that offensive line and making that line better does a lot for not just your quarterback. It does a lot for your 6th overall pick that you took last year. That's been having a down season because of terrible offensive line play. Hey, man, put Tassi. Hey, put him in there. See what he got. Sean Johnson. That's why John Spytek's first year, everyone was overpaying players. And everyone was, why is John Spytek not doing more? I think he played the first year right. The Raiders are projected with upwards of $120 million. And I say, hey, and I'm saying he can't spend money. He might say, "Fuck you, Raider Pre." Hey, and it's true. I'm a fan, bro. I'm not the GM. If Spytek feels he can go and spend this money and go get hella free agents and be giving them the bag, hey, do it, Spytek. Do it. But like I said, you guys, the reason why I pushed the draft is because that's where I seen teams turn shit around. Teams like the Chiefs, the Bills, the Eagles, the Patriots. People think, oh, they just spent hella money. Well, no, look at their draft. Their draft allows them to do that. They go hand in hand. It's not just because, like I said, we've done that before. We spent money. We gave guys like Trent Brown the bag. We gave guys like Corey Littleton the bag, the LaMarcus Joyner, the Vontaze Burfict. We gave them the bag. Bro, remember when we brought in Matt? Oh wait, no, that was Seattle. They gave him the bag and then they traded him to us. Devontae, we gave him the bag. Made him the highest paid wide receiver. So it's not like they don't spend their money. They do, but they're not spending it wisely. 2-4 says, I feel weird in this live stream because I'm a civilian here and I know how it goes. My status earned, not given. Hey, no, 2-4. You might earn a wrench. It's just I had to get some wrenches out. You just got to be active in my live stream, like all the time when I'm live. I usually go live at 3 o'clock. Was a little late today. You just got to be showing up in the live stream, and I try not to go on as graphing them. I try to be respectful. I don't want to cross my live with theirs. And I try not to even go live, even if because I know Wasted, at least for me, because he's on the East Coast. He goes live at 3 o'clock, like 3:30 my time. So I try not to overlap him. And I think, I'm not gonna lie, I think I did though. Oh no, I'm about to overlap him, like in 3 minutes, I think. So we gonna try to wrap this up so I can send y'all to our guy Wasted Talent over there, so we could hear him talk his shit as well. Leak, we have the weapons on offense. Just need a young-minded coach and quarterback to lead us in the right direction. For real. CGR, hey, stay safe out there, nation, and everyone to the nation. For me, y'all stay safe out there, y'all. Love every single one of y'all. 2-4. The great plan is to lose out, get Mendoza, and draft correctly, and things will fall into place. Hopefully, we don't Raider the shit. I agree. EP Scorpio Raiders. What's up to my guy? Another one of the mods. And if you want to, I talked about a plan that I came up with. I wrote it down. I talked about it earlier in the show. If you want to run the show back, and I would love to get your thoughts on what you think of the plan. Again, it's a plan that would happen in a perfect world. But again, it's a plan that I think, if Spytek is serious about making change and wanting to turn this thing around, is very, very necessary. So you can get these huge signings for $58 million, not bad, which would still leave $62 million in cap space. You get Linderbaum, which is market is saying 17, and Braden Smith and at 13, and Travis Jones. I thought Braden is a right tackle. Oh no, you're talking about Travis Jones being the nose tackle. Sorry, I'll forgive me, Sean. Forgive me. I'm still tired, bro. That's why I'm drinking coffee. But I hear you. Hey, that's 3 needs right there, Sean. 3 needs that are addressed. There's not a lot of corners out there that I looked at it earlier today when I was preparing for this live. And there's not a lot of corners out there that I have confidence in, that because we're looking at a corner 1, right? There's not a lot of free agent corners that I'm looking at that's I feel like, man, you got a better chance at giving Darian the corner one spot than having these guys come in. But hey, I could be wrong. Let me hear your guys' thoughts. I'll name off some names. I'll name off some names. There is Jamel Dean. His market value is 13 a year. What's his height? Because I'm not gonna lie, I like my if my outside corners, my corner ones, I like them to be pretty tall. Is he what's his I can't see how tall he is. But yeah, he's the top corner of free agency, the Buccaneers corner. So it goes Jamel Dean, Jimmy Ward, Darius Slay, Jonathan Jones, Amik Robertson, Eric Stokes, Kader Kohu, Greg Newsome, Fetu Melifonwu, Tre'Davious White, Xavier Howard, Benjamin St. Justice, Jeff Okuda, Roger McCreary, Jason Pinnock, Josh Jobe, Nazeed Johnson, Alante Taylor, Chris Boyd, Rasul Douglas. Hey, maybe bring Douglas back. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. There's Artie Burns, Martin Emerson. It's like, dude, the names just. I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence. I mean, and there's a Woozier that you could probably look at. He played from Baltimore, but you know he's 30 years old. I don't know how you feel about someone kind of getting past their 30s coming in. And I would like that MGs, but he's gonna keep quiet. He's gonna keep quiet. But yeah, let me start bringing this back. Mendoza next year should be our pick. Done putting a band at quarter. Let's lose the rest of the games and get that guy. Mile High, you can talk your shit. One step closer to what? It's crazy because it's sad, but one step closer to first overall pick. Like, that's crazy. But hey, you can talk your shit, bro. You can talk your shit. And hey, I gave Denver kudos at the beginning of the year. People were sleeping on that defense that y'all got. I wasn't. I said Denver was going to be a top 3 defense. And a playoff game I want to see is I want to see a Denver-Houston rematch just because of those two defenses. I love defense, bro. I love defense. Which you guys probably will. They're not playing good football. I mean, shit, you and the Chargers already dethroned them from winning the AFC West. They are not playing really good football. Primos, we live in a world where unicorns, rainbows, and houses made out of candy are real. No, we don't. But yeah, you guys, go hop over to my man Wasted Talent Raider Nation Unlimited right now. I think he is going live soon. He might have probably already went live. But yeah, y'all, thank you guys for pulling up. We had a lot of fun today. We talked about how the Raiders are one step closer to the first overall pick. It is almost guaranteed, you guys, that the Raiders can lock up the first overall pick once the season is ending. We talked about Fernando Mendoza. We talked about Dante Moore, that they should be on the Raiders' radar or something to monitor, at least with the Moore situation. Is he going to go back to college? Is he not? His offensive coordinator is leaving for Kentucky to take the head coaching job over there. We've seen the game that Mendoza had against Ohio State. He is likely going to win the Heisman. Again, we talked about this is something the Raiders cannot pass up. They cannot pass up on missing out on a quarterback. They got pieces, and it starts with firing, but it all starts with firing the head coach. It starts with firing every single coach. It starts with giving Spytek the keys, giving Spytek full control over this team, or at least over this roster. But with that said, you guys, yes, hop over to my guy Wasted Talents live stream, Raider Nation Unlimited. I know there's a lot of you guys that already subscribed to him, but you're not. Go over there, show some support to another great Raider content creator. I'll see y'all over there because I'm gonna go see what he got. He's gonna probably talk a lot of shit, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Anyways, y'all, have a great one. Peace out. Love y'all. Stay safe and be nice, bro. Be nice to each other. It's been a tough season. I'm seeing Raider fans be at each other's throats. It's been a tough season, y'all. Be nice to everyone, please. We out of here. Peace.